Welcome along, first of all. I've been tasked with welcoming you and saying a few things during the night. They call it compere. I call it slabbering, so I'm going to do a bit of slabbering during the night. A very warm welcome to you all to the Mulnahunch 75th anniversary of the band. It's a tremendous achievement to reach that figure. Lots of people, lots of bands never get to that, and it's still thriving, which is good as well. So you're very, very welcome. Just in terms of housekeeping, first of all, I hope this never happens, but if there's a fire alarm, please make yourself aware. There's a fire exit over here. There's a fire exit through these doors. There's a fire exit here, and for those at the back, there's a fire exit obviously out through the front door. So hopefully that never happens, but just be on the safe side. The second thing is, if I could ask you to either switch your mobile phones off or at least put them on silent, it would be an advantage to the people who are taking part, the stars of the show, of course. So, look, tonight is all about, you've seen a lot of stuff out in the hall. It's all about nostalgia, reminiscing, catching up with old friends, people you haven't seen in a long time, seeing who has less teeth than you. That's what it's about. But mostly, it's about crack. So, enjoy yourselves. Smile at the right moments, applaud at the right moments, and we'll all be happy. That's what it's all about, a night's crack. They say practice makes perfect. So the band have been practicing out here for a long time. Some of them tell me they've been practicing for 75 years. I'm not sure if that's just right, but they've certainly been practicing. We're going to hear them very shortly. But it's also good to get a wee warm-up, and that applies to you folks as well. All right? So I want you, first of all, now, you're going to have to take instruction from me, okay? So hopefully you'll follow my lead. I'd like you all, first of all, put your hands together and give the loudest applause you possibly can after 3. 1, 2, 3. Louder. Excellent, very good. Now this time, when I count to 3 again, nice loud applause, a few whistles, bit of whooping, whatever, bit of cheering, okay? Don't be shy. 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. Third piece of warm-up. I want you to combine those two with standing up. So I'm going to count to 3. You're going to applause, you're going to whoop and cheer, and you're going to stand up and keep going. 1, 2, 3. Very good. Andrew, you said you wouldn't get a stand ovation. 2 minutes in. 2 minutes in. And the last thing I want you to do, I'm going to do a wee bit of counting. And I want you to clap your hands along with me. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, because there's going to be lots of that, I'm hoping, later. After 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 3. Louder, louder. Stamp your feet if you want as well. Lovely. That is now the audience, I hope, warmed up. So the band are practiced, audience are warmed up. All that's left for me to do is to welcome the stars of the show who are going to come out, and I'm hoping Alexander's looking my way. All okay? Stars of the show, please welcome Mulnahunch Accordion Band. There we go. There's the stars of the show on. I think they're going to stay here now. And I'm going to tell you a wee joke here very quickly. It's a bit of a sad start to the story. And, it's about a wee child that was born, and unfortunate that... Himself? Well, no, it's a long time ago, so I was born, Andrew. The child was born, unfortunately, the child had no ears. It was terrible sad, it was dreadfully sad, but when you're asked round and you're told, you go round to see the neighbour's child or a new cousin or whatever it is, you bring the children along, the mother had warned, whatever you do, do not mention no ears. Do not mention it. Whatever you do, it's obviously, it's a sad situation, do not mention no ears. So in the wee lad goes anyway, and he's holding the baby and all's looking well, and he says, he's good. Has he good legs? Great set of legs, good set of legs. Definitely good, strong, kicking legs. That's good. What about his arms? A good set of arms? Oh, he's good set of arms, good set of... Oh, he'll be punching before long, that boy. Good set of arms, and I've no problem at all. Has a good heart? They checked out the heart. Oh, excellent heart. Heartbeat strong, everything's good. That's good. Is he good eyes? Got the eyes checked? Oh, the eyes are absolutely fantastic. Well, he says it's just as well if he'd been bothered if he needs glasses. So, look, I'm hoping you're going to have lots for your ears of enjoyment here tonight. There's sort of three groups of people. Anyone who's seen me do this before knows there's three groups of people that I tend to pick on. Paddies. I don't think there's any paddies here. Oh, there's one. No paddies here. Blondes, I think I'm fairly safe there. Ladies, I think I'm fairly safe there. All right. And the last one will be sort of Americans as well. So I'm going to tell you a couple here just very quickly about Paddy and Mick. Paddy and Mick are walking down the road, minding their own business, and Paddy's seen a pen in front of him. He says, Mick, look, there's somebody's dropped that pen. Pick it up there. Mick picked it up and says, wonder who owns it. He said, wonder who owns it. Hey, give me a bit of paper. And he started scribbling on it, and Mick says, it's yours. He said, how do you know? He says, that's your handwriting. Two Paddies in a building site doing the crossword. One says, here's a difficult one, tricky one here, he says. Flightless bird from Iceland, 6 and 7. Mick says, that's easy, frozen chicken. Paddy and Mick were lifelong friends. And of course, they're out one day and there was an awful lightning. Thunder and lightning was shocking all together. Unfortunately, Mick was hit. Mick was hit with the lightning, dead. It was tragic, absolute tragedy. And of course, it came along to the wake and the funeral and what have you. Not the wake, everybody was commenting, Mick was a great character. It's so sad that Mick is gone like this, so sudden. It's terrible altogether, but as they're looking at him, I said, he always had a great smile. He always had a great smile. And look, there he is, still smiling yet. Great smiling altogether. Well, Paddy says, well, that's maybe not so true. He says, for Paddy, Mick thought he was getting his picture taken at the time. Where's Andrew? What am I introducing now, Andrew? Because I forgot the bit of paper with me here. It's maybe Andrew, right? So Andrew is going to tell us during the night certain stages of the early years of the band, the sort of middle years, and right up to the present day. So I'm going to hand it over to Andrew, who's going to start with the good old days. Is that right?
Good old days, Dean.
There you go.
Good old days. Well, that flustered, I didn't know what I was doing there myself even. Don't know. Anyway, it's look, on behalf of the band, it's absolutely fantastic to see such a crowd. We had 150 seats out, 27 or something of us, and we've had to put out extra seats, so must have a couple of hundred here tonight anyway, so that's just fantastic. So that's certainly exceeded our expectations, and we're delighted to have you all here tonight. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to stick to my script because I'm going to try and not waffle on and just get on with it, so I'm going to stick to the script. Thank you all for coming to our very special 75th celebration. It's great to have all our friends and our families, but we are especially pleased to have all our former members. Would you raise your hands, please? Give them a clap. Yes, thank you. The whole pile is there. Yes, even Emma Jane, she can't be seen. Thank you. It's just so special for us. Joining us here tonight for our celebration, it just makes it so special. It just wouldn't be the same without you. We want to celebrate you for doing your part in keeping it going. We wouldn't have it today if you didn't do your part. Well, it was short or long, whatever, we appreciate it because we're here tonight because of your effort, and we want to celebrate and thank you for that. The band and our families have worked very hard in preparation, and please do take to record a message in our visitor book just on the right hand side as you go out of the main hall here tonight. Also look at the displays. Fantastic array of photographs. We're so grateful for all those who gave those amazing photographs right back from the very earliest. It's just amazing to have these. We're just so privileged. In the other room, you can pick up the accordion or drum and give it a go for old time's sake. And have your picture in the photo booth there. Sit on the sofa, put on the Glengarry or the cap, and take a photograph of yourself as well for memories of tonight. I just want to give a snapshot of the history. It is impossible, as you can imagine, to do 75 years in just maybe 15 minutes. So it's just impossible. I'm not going to bore you. I'm going to do it in 3 sections. So we hope that you really enjoy hearing a taster of some of the things over the last 75 years. So maybe, Anson, you could switch off these lights. It's much that you don't look at me and you look at the screen. I think you'll appreciate that better than looking at me. Lily of Clonnice, LOL 96, in the 1920s decided to form their first band. It was a flute band, and it continued until 1949 when the accordion band was started. And I should say that if you disagree with some of this information, well, I apologise. I wasn't there to know. So I know some of them behind me here think maybe differently as to what my age might be. Bob Richardson and Mr. John McNeil travelled to Belfast to buy the first accordions and the bass drum. The founder members were on accordion Ray Kyle, Nee Condy, Jean McIver, Nee Condy, Rennie Haddon, Nee Sharkey, Tommy Rutherford, Joe Stinson, Jim Stinson, Desmond Sharkey, and Tommy Hardy. On side drum was Oswald Simpson, and bass was Bill Colbert. We are especially pleased to have very much alive, and with us tonight, 2 of the founder members. It's just amazing. Jean McIver, Nee Condy, and Tommy Rutherford. Give them a big round of applause. And that's it. Jean's here, Tommy's here. Where are you, Tommy? Oh, he's down at the back. There you go. I knew I was speaking to Tommy earlier. And just to look at the photograph, if you look from left to right, Tommy is the second one in from left to right. The second one from left to right. That's Tommy. There you go. Way back there. So there you go. Brilliant to have that photograph. The band used Lily of Clonnice, LOL 96, on the drum. Couldn't have a picture of the bass. Yes, there you go. Good man. Simon's behind me. He's on the ball here. He's keeping the pictures flowing. Until more recent years, when a new drum was bought, we then changed to using Mulnahunch accordion band to identify with where we meet, so that people when we're out would know what our name and where we're from, but also to be closer connected with our more affectionate name. Our more affectionate name is the Hunch Bunch. I'm not sure. Yeah, thanks, Quinn. I'm not sure who's. Is it this mic or is it? No, keep going. I'm not sure who's responsible for this nickname, but maybe this character had a lot to do with it. That boy photobombing. Where are you, Winnie? There you are. I think he had something to do with the Hunch Bunch name, but there you go. The band didn't have many outings in the early years, possibly just the 12th, and there was no orange service then. But we understand in those days, on the 1st of July, the band marched from Mulnahunch to the manse, Clonlease Manse, to play for the minister. I'm not sure we're going to start that one again, Jackie, just in case. You know, just in case you're expecting us this 1st of July coming. A new hall was built in 1963, and we got that information from Betty. There, we were looking back at some of the videos, but she could give us all the history the evening we were with her. But before then, there was an old hall on the current site. This had a hearth fire to keep warm, and if the firewood was a bit scarce, the band members would take off the old wooden side panels around the walls and use that for firewood. So they were very inventful, weren't they? While the new hall was being built, some of the former members remember going to the Knox's home, Simpson's home and Sharkey's home for the band practices. We are told they enjoyed going because it was good crack. So I don't think an awful lot has changed if you're at the band practice. Not a lot has changed. So, sorry, I'm all fingers and thumbs. In making the arrangements for this event, one of the unexpected great pleasures for us has been making new connections with former band members. And it's just fantastic that many of these families are still represented in the band today, years and generations later. One of these renewed connections has been with the Simpson family. One of the family, Ian Simpson, MBE, now lives in Oxford in England and joined the band 68 years ago. He, believe it or not, he still has the same accordion. He's coming 80, by the way. He still has the same accordion that he bought when he was 15 years old. We are delighted to have a recorded message from Ian. Here he is.
Hello, my name's Ian Simpson and I'm a former member of Mulnahunch Accordion Band. I would like to congratulate the band on its 75th anniversary, and I'm sorry I can't be there for your celebrations this evening. I'm not quite old enough to be the founder member of the band, but I joined in 1956 when I was 11 years old, and I was then the youngest member of the band. John Stinson was about 5 years older than me, and the other members were all grown men. I remember John's older brother Joe, Tommy Hardy, who I think was the leader, Tommy Rutherford, Ian Lytle, Desmond Sharkey and Willie Johnson. The bass drummer was Bill Colbert, and the side drummers were my father Oswald Simpson and his cousin Tom Simpson. We were trained by Mervyn Blakely, who taught us with music annotated with the numbers of the buttons on the accordion, and the letter N if you pushed the bellows in and O if you pulled the bellows out. Our only item of uniform was an ex-police cap with a white cloth cover on the crown. In the 1960s, the membership of the band changed, and I moved from being the youngest member to being the oldest. At one time, there were 5 Sharkeys: Bertha, Kenny, Eric, Edwin and Elma, and 5 Simpsons, myself and my 2 brothers, George and Leslie, my cousins Eric and David, plus Sidney Turner and Albert Colbert. The Simpson tradition of drumming was maintained with Eric taking over the bass drum and George succeeding our father on the side drum. We were taught by Sam Duffy, who taught us all to read music, including drum music. We had a uniform of grey trousers or skirts, white shirts, royal blue ties and Glengarry caps. When I was 15, I saved up enough money to buy my own accordion from Joe Cahoon's music and jewellery shop in the Market Square in Dungannon. I remember it cost me £45. I still have it, and it's now reputed to be worth over £3,000. I still play it occasionally, and I would like to play now the first tune that I learned in the band. It is Hold the Fort, written by the 19th century American composer and hymn writer Philip Bliss. I remember it as a good marching tune, and I hope you enjoy it.
There you go. I think he deserves, yes, indeed. So there you go. That's a real treat for us. Another Simpson man left a lasting memory in some of our former members, that being Tom Simpson, Davy Simpson. Everybody knows Davy about the country here. And I believe on the 12th, for years, he would famously say, "We're going to get 10 new red accordions." Because you can see here, this is an early photograph here. This is a Patterson girl here on the left, and you can see a couple of grey accordions there. All right, so you see a couple of grey accordions. So red accordions must have been more Protestant, that's what I could only guess. And that's maybe why they wanted to get red accordions. We are grateful to the help of Richard Knox and Trevor Lockard and the Lodge and some micro grants that we were able to keep buying those red accordions, as you can see here tonight. Sam Duffy from Dungannon trained the band in the early years, and some of the tunes were Lead Kindly Light, Round Tree, Work for the Night, Nut Brown Maiden. Not sure whether I got that one right or not. We don't play it anymore anyway. And a difficult tune called 76 Trombones. Maybe have to look that one up. We will now play some of our old tunes. We're going to wear our full uniform, hats and jackets and all. And after these tunes, just to let the band know, we're going to strip to the shirt and tie, because I think we'll pass out otherwise, because it's a good bit of heat here tonight. So we do like to look as smart as we can. So. What was it? One tree. Good. Right. So it's going to be guessed that tune tonight, okay? Well, we're for the right. Well, what was that? Roll the seas away. Thank you. Very good. So, I'll keep it here, Quentin. I think I'll not be blowing into it the same. Okay, so, on we go. On we go to the middle years. Now, for us in the band, the middle years is when the stories get more interesting. Today, Mulnahunch is not known for its good looks. Well, that is except Rodney. He thinks he's Tom Cruise. Roll back the years and add in the Orrs and the Patterson ladies. Well, that makes a different story. Leading the way is this lady here, and she's up there, is Edna. And she's sitting here up near the front row here tonight. Emma lost me. Edna Little, Edna Orr, Nee Orr. Can you read the caption there? It says, adding a touch of glamour to the 12th procession. But that's not all. When you hear this, this pretty accordion player. We think this was possibly 1980. Don't know. Somebody had scribbled 1950, but I don't think that was right. I just guessed that. I guess there was the ink had started to wear out somewhere. Standardising the uniform has always been a challenge. Wearing hats. Thankfully, we got over that one. The length of skirts. But hearing about and seeing some of the pictures of Marina Patterson, and you can see some of them out there. Well, I'm not sure what it certainly wasn't much material in it anyway. Mini skirts, and when you hear hot pants, I don't know, and green eyeshadow. I think my worries about wearing hats, I had little to worry about. So I don't think so. The uniform in those days consisted of a red jumper, a navy dicky bow, and you see the uniform still, the old uniform out there, and you can put your black Glengarry cap, which looked quite smart, as these two models show here. Mabel on the left and Edna on the right. There you go. There you go. That's most of the embarrassing stuff over now, Edna, I think. I'm glad you come up to the front row. It makes it's all the more entertaining for us. Valerie Paisley took over training the band in the 70s and 80s after James Turner. We had moved to a more modern time, so it was time to liven up the uniform. So royal blue jumpers with a red tie and a fancy red and white checkered Glengarry with a red and white plume were purchased. Feel free to try on the caps, take your photographs for old time's sake. I was struggling for a model for this one, not as good as Edna there, so I had to do with these boys here. There's Ira in the back. He's down the back again. He always likes down at the back. He always liked the back. And our Rodney with the curtains. You see, that's why he didn't. Too cool to wear a hat. Too cool to wear a hat. This change coincided with a few more trips to band parades, as you can see there, such as Killalay, Clogher, Auchnacloy. In the 1980s, the famous three, in this case, joined the band. That was Gwen, here, myself, and Ira. They're sitting in the side there. We're up there, we are. I remember my first parade. It was in Tamnamore. We won a prize that night. It was probably the only prize we ever won in all our time. And I got to collect it. So there you go. After Valerie, Cecil McNeil took charge, assisted by Cherith. And there's Edna again at Cherith. There's Cherith behind Edna there. It was a delight to get this photograph. My mother didn't have a photograph of Cherith in the band at that stage. So it's just a thrill. Cherith would have done out the tunes and helped train. The accordion she is seen playing here is in the display in the informal room. That's where the photographs are. And you'll see this accordion out there with her handwritten name on it. As you know, many you know, Cherith has passed away. She had multiple sclerosis for many years. And her handwritten name is on the accordion, and the accordion's out there. Please take time to look at it. Pick it up and play it. I started on the accordion, but it wasn't very good. And if anybody's sitting at that side and heard my mistake there in the last tune, you'll know I'm still not very good. I really wanted to play the side drum. I mean, I really did. I was mad about drumming. I believed, and I do believe it was from, it came from those early days in the band, listening to Cecil McNeil drumming. He was brilliant. I can still remember clearly a 12th. It could have been my first 12th in Ochnacloy. I remember parading up towards Ochnacloy High School. It's that vivid in my memory. And I can remember, I was only a dummy player in the accordion anyway, but I remember totally engrossed in Cecil's drumming. I remember it vividly. And here is Cecil here on the right, and on the left, that's Cecil on the big drum. He was on the side drum, but then he because of numbers, he then went on to the bass drum, and Trevor Haddon on the left on the side drum. Cecil also played the bass. I had the privilege of following Cecil and playing both the side drum and the bass drum. I persisted till I got my way. Some of the bass drummers over the years have been Bill Colbert, Eric Simpson, and Cecil McNeil, Ian, who's there behind Ira, sitting down there, and myself. That's the order in what it went. And then Trevor Colbert. Trevor following in his father's footsteps, still here today. Well, sadly, Cecil's life was cut way too short, being murdered by terrorists on the 25th of February, 1984, at only 22 years of age. We want to acknowledge the passing of Cecil and other former members, some very young as well, and remember our friends and family of the band who still feel the great loss. In 2022, Gwen lost her fiancé in a tragic car accident. The band was heading to play in Belfast a few days later. And before we got on the bus, we gathered together, as we did that day, we do tonight, and that is to bring the hurting to the one who understands, the Lord Jesus. Wayne Ferry led us in prayer that day, and Wayne's going to lead us in prayer now. Thank you, Wayne.
Let us pray. Thank you for all gathering here tonight, Lord, and to celebrate the 75th anniversary of Mulnahunch Accordion Band. We'd just like to reflect on all that has happened over the past 75 years. We think of those who are no longer with us and who are a huge part of our band. The ones that were in our band are no longer here, but whose families are represented. We remember them all in prayer. As we play our next hymn, Christ our hope and life and death, we pray that these words will touch everyone's hearts. We pray these words will comfort everyone here and encourage you all. We pray for the founder members and those with us tonight and telling us all the history of the band. It encourages us as a band to keep going and glorifying God through our music. We just thank you for chatting to everyone, coming in and looking back at all the photos and pictures and remembering all the good times. We thank you, Lord, as we chat over supper and have fellowship together. And this we ask in your name. Amen.
Good. Now you're getting up there. You're starting to get warmed up. All right. That was what a promotion. That's Trevor's favourite. You seen him whistling along there. We're doing a wee jig. He loves that.
Thank you very much. And don't forget the warm-up at the start. Clapping hands, whooping and cheering. I think that gives the band all the encouragement. Some of them don't need a lot of encouragement, how that's said, but nonetheless, it does help to encourage them, and it makes for a better night experience for us also. Thank you as well to Wayne, to that very fitting tribute to past members no longer with us. I said at the start, I like having a go at Paddy's, and I like having a go at, I think I said blondes, and I think I said Americans, and it's nice to have a go at a few people in the room as well, which is always a wee bit fun. And it's nice when you can combine the two. So I'm going to tell you a wee joke here very quickly about a person who went to the doctors. Sorry, Evan, you're up next. It's you. Yes, you have. Do you remember when you could go to the doctors? I know you can still go to the doctors, but there's a time there for a long time. I mean, to get to the doctors now is, you know, that's an achievement in itself. But this man went to the doctor's surgery. First time he'd been there before, we were apprehensive and hadn't been to seen this doctor before, and there was no lady sitting in the seat beside him, and her name was called, and she got up and she was bent double on a stick. She was very, very poorly. And then she went to the doctor, and a few minutes later out she come walking like a soldier. Straight as a die. And the guy says, wow, this is some doctor. What did he give you? A longer stick. Thank you. But the guy went into the doctors as well with shocking badly burnt ears. 2 ears burnt, dreadfully badly burnt. And the doctor says, what happened to you? Oh, he says, it's a terrible story. He says, I was doing the iron, he says, and the phone rang. And he picked up, such a carry. He said, what happened to the other one? He says, he rang back. And here's a wee quick one. It's always nice. It's dangerous. Give me a microphone sometimes. It's always good to have. This one's for you, Jackie. What do you call a vicar on a motorbike? Rev. Right, that's enough for me. As you can clearly see, there's some very. What would you call it? Some very entertaining folks here, some very talented folks behind us here. And I'm now going to call on the vice chairperson of the band to say, yes, it's you, Jenny, it's you. Yes. Am I right? I'm wrong? Of course, I've missed Evan. After giving him the build-up, then stealing his thunder. Right, I forgot about that, sorry. I'm going to hand over to Evan Sharkey, who's going to interview a few of the past members. Apologies for that.
Thank you very much, Dean. I'm happy to sit there. So yeah, there's a few members from founding right up to current members who are just bursting to share a few memories. So this is your chance to come forward if you want to make your way up. The rest have chickened out. I'll have to call you out. Tommy, Edwin, Trevor's here and Gwen's here. So if Edwin and Tommy want to make their way up. Obviously need a bit of encouragement. So just while Tommy's making his way up there, we'll just go over to Jean here. As already been said, we're delighted to have two founding members. We have Tommy Rutherford and Jean McIver. So we'll start with you, Jean. And we'll just a simple question. Do you want to share a few early memories of the band?
Hello. I don't remember a lot about it because I went away shortly after I joined the band.
Okay, I think you remember a wee bit about maybe the old hall and practicing it. Do you remember anything about the band practices? Or?
Well, a wee bit. I remember the first parade was to Clogher on the 12th.
So that was that the first 12th of the new accordion band, and it was in Clogher. And sort of, how many would you have had that day roughly in Clogher?
Oh, I don't remember.
A few, maybe just a few less than we have today. We've sort of been up and down, but we're probably as high in numbers as we've been. So we'll go on to Tommy. So Tommy, if you just want to tell us a wee bit about what you remember about band practices and going to band practice way back in those early days.
Way back then, days, there was a band practice every 3 weeks or so. So there was a man coming and taught us every week, every 3 weeks. And we used to walk down to McAteer's Crossroads and back up again. And on the 12th, we usually went to Ballagalla. And don't remember much more.
I like this every 3 weeks. And I said some of us only get not even every 3 weeks, so that would suit some of us all right. There's a wee bit I mentioned earlier about the uniform, so it's obviously changed a bit over there. So what was the uniform when you were in it in the early stages?
Uniform. We had no uniform. Cap, big cap.
Okay, so you, what did you wear when you were out in the 12th?
Ordinary clothes.
Very good. Well, there's keep it casual. We're getting lots of ideas tonight. It'll suit us, the Hunch Bunch, all right? I can see them up the street in their jeans, all right? Right, so we'll go to Dawn. We're just sort of flying through you here. So, Dawn, you obviously grew up in a house where I suppose lots of you, all of you, were involved in the 12th. So tell us a wee bit about those 12 mornings and the rush to get out.
12th morning in the Stinson household was busy. Farm was still going on, even though the 12th was still had to be sorted. But even lead up to the 12th, Mum always did the beef for the beef sandwiches on the 12th morning. So that was in preparation. So that was on cooking from the night before. We always generally stored the banner in the house, so it was laid out in the spare bedroom to air for a couple of days before the 12th. Shirts were ironed and everybody headed off to the lodge, which was a very eventful affair always down there. So it was a good day, yeah.
Just before you go, just to check, when you were in the band practice, do you remember much about it? How often did you meet?
Don't remember. How often did we meet, Mabel? Every fortnight? Was it? Yeah. I do remember Anson Sharkey, wherever he is, came in his wee yellow mini. On his own, of course. No, he brought me home. And Beverly. Anson would have picked us up. And boy, he was a speedy driver. He took those corners at some rate. Anyhow, that was a part of the band practice. But one of the other funny stories, I just, when I seen one of the pictures up, obviously I was in the era with Edna and Mabel and Heather. And as a young person, those were the big girls, so we looked up to them and we thought, I want high heels for wearing on the 12th day like those girls. They didn't have high heels. So I borrowed a pair of June Lockhart, now June Coote. She is a size smaller than me, but I thought I could manage. Was I sore by the end of the parade? But I was on those platforms, I walked the day, sore feet and all, and I still made the Bond social that night.
Very good. Thanks very much, Don. So we're learning lots tonight. Well, bring Edwin up here next. And first of all, Edwin, you just want to say a few words just on behalf of the Lodge.
Just on behalf of the Lodge, I welcome you all here tonight for this special occasion of the band. And come back to the band, I'd like to congratulate them on this 75 years. It's a big milestone. Mulnahunch Band, or Lily of Clonlees, it'll be a sort of a family affair. The Condys and the Simpsons and the Sharkeys and Colberts, a few would be made up the band way back. I think one time maybe there's only 2-3 families in it at one particular time. And but again, I don't like picking out anybody in particular, but I think I'd have to pick out Andrew here for the present time. Only for Andrew, I think Mulnahunch Band wouldn't be where it is today. And I think we'd give Andrew a big round of applause. Maybe a wee bit about the hall, Mulnahunch Hall. I remember the old hall. I remember going to band practices in it way back. I don't know, not say when it was, but late 50s, early 60s. And you'd walk till it, we walked till it, or if you're lucky enough, you had a bicycle. Wasn't too many bicycles, so usually most of us walked to the band practice. And the old hall was sitting in the same plot where it is today, but there was a bank, a big bank, and a hedge right round it. And there was a wee gate just down next Paisley's Lane. There was a wee gate there, a wee pedestrian gate, and they just walked in through that gate and you were practically in again the front door of the hall. And there's a walk right around about maybe a metre wide or a yard wide right around it. You could have went around, but there wasn't gravel or nothing. It was just a grass path. You could have walked right around or run around it. But I can remember there was a wee tin hut at the back of the hall. And when we went to band practice, the first thing you went in, and there's a big table in the hall that time. We pulled it out onto the middle of the floor. I got it out, and I went out to this wee tin shed at the back. And I've got a couple of planks or an door or something like that, and I put one up at the front of the table and one up at the other side of the table. And there was always somebody had a bike, or maybe 2 bikes. So you jump in the bike and in through the back door of the hall, through this tin shed, and in through the back door, up the ramp onto the table with the bike, and down the other side, and out through the front door and back around again. So that was sort of kind of took a lot of our band practice up for most of the night. But we got there anyway, and then I think it was the late 50s or so, the early 60s, late 50s, there was talk about building a new hall, and it went on maybe from the late 50s into maybe the beginning of the 60s, and they come round and debated for quite a long time, I know, about this new hall, but it finally the decision was made. And I think the two main men now, I could be wrong, but I think the two main men in pushing the thing forward at that particular time was my father and Tom Simpson. So everybody was in agreement to a certain extent, but it was just that final kick to go. So they pushed it anyway, and the hall was started. In the early 60s, 3 lads built it, a fella, Archie Ellison, Ronnie Moore, and a fella Cardwell. I can't remember his name now, but Archie Ellison and Ronnie Moore was back at Donaghmore out by Killinaslee direction. So they were the two. Archie Ellison was the main man at building, and Ronnie and this fella Cardwell was along with him, so they built the hall. And to the best of my knowledge, someone sticks in my head at 3,750. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know, but I've that figure in my head anyway about the hall cost, not whether it could have cost more, I'm not sure. But that was the price at that time, and it was opened. The hall was opened in 1965, so 60 years next year from the hall was opened. I remember, but I remember the hall was built for them. Then we took an ocean at that time when the hall was up, concreting around the front and a wee bit up the side up Paisley's Lane under. And at that time there was no ready-mix lorries coming down the road. So the wee grey Ferguson tractor, I can mind going to John Finley's and a wee grey Ferguson tractor and a trailer and getting a load of gravel, what they call concrete gravel. There's just maybe you got a load of fine gravel and a scoop of sand through on the top of it, and you're down the road with that. And you shoveled that at the back of the trailer with shovels. You shoveled off maybe 3 or 4, maybe 4 barrelfuls roughly. And you threw a bag of cement in it, and you turned it with a shovel. As I talked about pouring it out, you turned the pile out, you turned it back in again, and you turned it out, and you put a drop of water on it and mixed it. And that's the way the front of the hall, on concrete down the front of the hall, and around the side, the gable upside Paisley's Lane. That's the way it was concreted. Mixed with a shovel, for I can remember mixing with a shovel at that time, and that's the way you took it. The wee grey Ferguson tractor, wee grey diesel tractor, and you were up to Finley's. I can't even remember, well, there's more than me went, but I can't even remember her licence or not. I'm sure I hadn't. And you went up to Finley's and you got a load of gravel and you come back down the road with it and mixed the concrete and concrete the front of the hall. So that's, as Dean said there a while ago, better not slobber too long because he had fed off listening. But that's a wee bit of history on the hall anyway, as far as I can remember.
Thanks very much, Sarah. There's a really, really old black and white photo up there, and I was wondering how he was in it, but obviously he goes back long enough. So. Very good. Well, we'll move on to a couple of current band members. Trevor, if you want to come on up. Trevor, he's a muscle in the band. He carries the big drum. So, Trevor, you're just going to tell us a wee bit about, we talked about the hall, Edmund filled us in there, about the new hall. Do you remember the new hall opening, the big event at that time? Tell us about that.
Well, I remember the new hall being open, and there's a great dance there. I was only maybe about 10 or 11 or so, and they brought the electric over from what Hugh Williamson's house would have been that time, and I mean, after the dance was over, we sat in the car, I didn't know who was with me. We sort of know for a long night, so I got the electric cable all rolled up again. That's my remember the new hall. And I mean, Barry Graham got me to drum in the Loon Hall or in the Loon Barn as a tenor drummer, and then my father asked me to go and drum in Mulnahunch. I'd done a while there, and then I thought I was getting old, and I left then. And then my daughter Chrissy and Fiona Sharkey, they're in the band, and I think Andrew stuck for a drummer one night, and I was roped into that. And that must be 30 odd years ago, so they haven't chased me yet. Maybe after night they will. And as Andrew was given, hadn't a bit of a doing here. I made 112 that Mulnahunch rolled around the field, the demonstration field, all day long. So wonders does it still give you a good cuddle, does it? But that's my members of the band, like, you know.
Thanks very much, Trevor. And I'm glad they brought you back out of retirement. I still think Trevor is one of the new members of the band because I was in it before he came back in it, so I've been in it too long myself. So finally, but not last but not least, should I say, we have Gwen. Gwen is our chairperson of the band. She's been in it 44 years with no breaks. So Gwen, you'd want to tell us just a wee bit about your early memories of the band back 44 years ago.
I'm no good at talking anyway, but anyway, my memory was my first 12th, and Andre said to me that he would take care of me. And Cecil was there at that time, and Cecil says, not a chance. I'm looking after her. That's how I remember. Good bunch of bands.
So just there we go. So apart from the men fighting over you, what about the music? Was it much different than what we're playing now?
Yeah, a lot different. Yeah, yeah. But I still like playing the old tune, yeah.
Is it better now or better then?
Oh, it's better now. Yeah.
You're right. Very good. Well, we'll let you sit down. I might hand back to Dean.
Thank you much. Thank you very much. And thank you to all those former members, or current members as well, who come up and told us a bit of the history of the band and some nice memories and nostalgia, and it's nice to have those. They're getting ready to play here, so I'm going to tell you a wee quick joke. I said I'd have a go at Paddy's. I've done that mostly. I didn't have a go at the Blondes, really. I haven't had a go at them yet at all. So here's a wee quick one for you. Why did the blonde stare at the carton of orange juice for 3 hours? Why did the blonde stare at the carton of orange juice for over 3 hours? Because it said concentrate. What do you call a blonde that doesn't wash? Dirty blonde. Now, I'll go back to the Paddies here, because I said there's one race or one people who think they're much more intelligent than Paddies, but the Paddies normally get the upper hand, and that's the Americans. They think they're something. They are something else. So anyhow, there's a flight, and there's an American on the flight, and Paddy's sitting beside this American. They get chatting a bit, and the American works out maybe that Paddy's not that intelligent. He thinks he can take the hand out of him, as we would say. So he decided in this long flight maybe it'd be a good idea if he just showed Paddy up about how smart he was and how stupid Paddy was. So he says, Paddy, he said, why don't we play a wee game? Every question I ask you and you can't answer, I'll give you $5. And every question you ask me that I can't answer, I'll give you $100. He was that confident that he knew it all. And Paddy says, that's all right, go on ahead now, go on ahead. So the American says to him, can you tell me what the molecular formula for sugar is? Well, sure, Paddy hasn't a clue, not a notion at all. C12H22O11, just by the way, just to let you know. So he hasn't a clue at all, so he hands over the American $5. Right, Paddy, he says, your go. Paddy says to him, what went up the hill with 3 legs and came down the hill with 4? Well, the American was Googling, he was encyclopediaing, he was phoning friends, he was all sorts. This went on for a long time. Eventually he says, I give up, Paddy. Here's your $100. Silence. Well, come on, Paddy, he says. What's the answer? Paddy says, I haven't a clue. Here's your £5 back. Right. I think I jumped forward a wee bit earlier, but I'm at the right stage now. Not quite. When I said earlier that there was a chance for some whooping and hollering and clapping hands, it's arrived. This is the moment. So not only is there a chance for clapping hands, whooping, whatever you want to do, there's a chance for a little sing-along as well. And Gwen mentioned some of the tunes. Gwen mentioned some of the tunes that are changed. There's a few here that I'm quite sure they were playing 75 years ago, and you'll recognise them instantly. So, without further ado, I'll hand over to the band. But remember the clapping and the singing along. Oh, me lead them? Yeah. No, that wasn't the agreement, Andrew, I don't think. You want to send them home? Ted, you're coming up, are you? No, I thought you were coming up. Come here, Ted.
Just one thing I will say there. Trevor mentioned electric in the hall there, someone about electric. John Filney would give us a generator, a big generator on 2 wheels, and we pulled her down. We set her in the corner of Paisley's Field, and that was electric for, I don't know how long. years through John. A lot of stuff for the hall that time would have come from John Filney, and a lot of stuff was donated by John Filney too. But I can remember him sending that generator down.
I think you've guessed the first tune. Right, over to the band. I'm not singing it, I hope. Andrew's not happy.
Not happy.
They're not whooping. They're not hollering.
What Orange men were with us in Belfast? Aye, honest to goodness. We had to get the crowd going that day, and we did get them going. So come on, Dean, get them going. You may get them clapping there, boys. You do your stuff in this one, all right, and then that might help. All right, that's it.
You start singing.
I start singing. I send these people home early if I start singing. It was old, but it was beautiful, and its colours they are fine. It was worn at Derry, Accordion. My father wore it every youth in bygone days of yore, and it's on the 12th I love to wear the dress my father wore. Days of yore, and it's on the 12th the sash my father wore. Woo, woo! Give it up to the two young lads. Well done. Good job you didn't go to the second verse. I'd had trouble. I think we would. I want to hear you all singing, unless, no offence, I want to hear lots of this. I want to hear this too, but I want to hear the singing.
We enjoy playing this one too. Great old gospel. Singing it.
That was great. Well done to the two young lads. Where are they? Up and take a bow again here, fellas. Well done. Good lads. That's the future. That's the future secured. I said I jumped ahead earlier, so I'm not going to tell you it's a joke at this stage at all, but I did say there's some very talented people within the band. And at this stage, I am going to call on the vice chairperson, who's, it says here, and I'm going to read this exactly what it says to make sure I got this right. Get this right. Where is it? Oh, I brought the wrong set of things, but I know what it says anyhow. Jenny Conley's going to come up here and speak in a second. She's going to say a poem, which is written herself. But I'm told that Jenny transferred into the band, not just a free transfer or, well, it was free anyhow. It was stolen was the word was using. Stolen from Dergna. And I'm hoping that still doesn't rancor with you, but clearly it does, obviously. But I'll hand you over to Jenny, who's going to say a poem.
You get roped into many a thing in this band, eh? When Andrew asked me a few weeks ago to write a poem, I thought, aye, that's all right, no bother. But I forgot that I had to deliver it on the night. But anyway, here we go. Celebrating 75 years of Mulnahunch Accordion Band. A very warm welcome is extended to each one of you. Whether you have travelled many miles or only just a few, we hope that you're enjoying this very special night of music and storytelling that has been prepared with much delight. 75 years is a very long time, all the way back to 1949. It's great to travel down memory lane to hear these old stories told over again. 7 decades have quickly come and went, but thankful are we for all the talent you've lent. For with us tonight, 2 founder members you've already met, Tommy Rutherford and Jean McIver, make quite a set. The practices were known as a social event. With many a new tune you learnt with intent. By foot you all came to enjoy a night out. There was plenty of fun, we're all in no doubt. Before you go home, take a moment or two to admire all the photos. There are quite a few of many a band member, both old and new, stepping it out playing tunes as we grew. Members have come and members have gone, some for a short time, others for the long haul. Many a friendship has carried on down through the decades with much to recall. Tonight we are blessed as we share with this band the wonderful variety of tunes and old hymns. May the music of Mulnahunch that's been played by your hands continue with God's guidance up and down this island land.
Well done, Jenny. That was amazing. Give her an odd clap there. Just get back on schedule here again. I was just thinking those red accordions there. Davy didn't catch my eye when I was talking about his father, but I caught his eye down there. So good to have you, Davy. So those red accordions. So we managed to get it eventually. Your father maybe didn't see it, but we've seen it. So here we go into the latter years. There was a big void after Cecil's death, but very courageously, Cecil's father, John, took charge again, assisted by Cherith, until Ian was persuaded to take over. Of a picture of Ian, there he is, on the bass there. The band was very small at that time, maybe not even double figures, 8 or 9, including the drummers, was all that we had. And I wasn't that much volume at that stage to the band. So Ian was good crack. You were. Because you always like just winding everybody up. You always like teasing everybody. He's not disagreeing. He's smiling and laughing there, so he knows fine rightly. Yeah, he liked keeping everybody going. But he could play. He could play the accordion and the drum and anything. And he could teach also. The band grew to 30, nearly 30. It was as big, if not bigger, than we have today. Quite a bunch there. That's one of the photographs there. I'm playing the side drum at the back there on your right hand. Around 1998 and 1999, fundraising started for the current uniform. So a sponsored walk was organised. I remember this was fierce competition to see who could raise the most. But Ira beat everybody, hands down. He paid enough to buy his own uniform. And one memorable night for Ian was during band practice on the 11th night. Colin Stinson, who's a wedding today, unfortunately can't be with us, he took on the bass drum just during the practice, and he beat that hard that he burst the drum. And this was the 11th night, remember? So Ian, he had a panic job. As everybody knows, Ian's very handy. He's a great engineer, but I'm not sure patching drums. He's shaking his head. I don't think the patching of the drum was just the thing that he was kind of looking. He wasn't looking forward to that one. But he managed to do a job, and he got it going well enough to get him through the 12th. Ian started off on the bass, and then he moved to the accordion. I think you'll see him playing there. I remember some very wet 12ths back then. They seemed to be wetter. I don't know. Maybe it's just because of my age. Especially one in 5 Mile Town. Ian was on the bass drum, and I can remember it still today. It was that wet. We come up out. There was a field just before you go into 5 Mile Town from this side, on the left-hand side. We come up out, and Ian must have shouted up out of the field, turned right, and went home. Didn't even parade the return journey at all. It was that wet. My mother says something about that day. I think she had to wash the feet once they got to the field, or in the with the can of water that we had to wash the band members' feet and stuff. I remember one in Aucknacloy in particular. We landed at the start of the parade, and it was that wet. In those days, we took a cattle trailer. It was cleaned out, and it was that wet. The band just got up into the cattle trailer, and we travelled to the assembly point in the cattle trailer. The band kept up attending band parades with one invitation standing out to Ian. Was a request by the Reverend Brett Ingram. I think he was quite posh, so I thought about doing a posh accent. And the Reverend Brett Ingram, he requested for the Clonanese Band to lead the Collegial Orange Service. So I think that was a memorable one for Ian from Brett Ingram. In 2000, Ian decided to retire, and I took over. We thank Ian for all his work in those days. I think, Ian, you're the only former leader of the band still alive. Is that right? Yep. Long may you continue. In the last 24 years, there have been so many great memories. But I want to say the greatest joy has been spending time with this hunch bunch. All the friendships we have made, and how will we ever forget playing for Cherith and Batty? What a night we had with Batty. Was that just a year past? A year past. Batty was very unwell. It wasn't too long till she passed away after that, less than a month. So just to put it into perspective, Batty was really unwell. But we went, and what a night we had with some fantastic videos. We haven't got time to show them, but to listen to Batty's stories and our laughs, what a night we had. It was just fantastic. It was the wettest night ever, exactly. We stood in a shed because we didn't want to crowd out Batty or deafen her rather. And we stood in the shed outside. It was lashing rain, and we were sitting watching Batty sitting in the porch, and we were playing the tunes. And then we went inside, and of course she'd never get away from Batty no matter how unwell, and she made us all supper, and we told some great stories, and there's some with some laughs. And the Batty tells the story about Jim. She bought these cups, and they were sort of modern cups, you know, with a sort of an A-shaped, you know, and the tea was set out, and Jim must have spilt the cup over. Batty gave him a bit of a lecture, you know, the usual. Oh, Jim, what are you? Jim says, do you know, Batty, I don't know what you bought them things. You know, I don't like anyone or a bottom. And we laughed. Well, folks, we loved the stories, and we played her the sash. And here's Batty. What an inspiration and a challenge these two ladies were, facing death with such joy and peace. And we know where they got it. We know where they got their joy and their peace. They faced death with that joy and peace. And we just challenged us, have you got that joy and peace? And that's found in the Lord Jesus. We continue to try and improve our standard of playing with the addition of some very talented young people and accordion and drummers. We have British champion drummers among us here, and with some help from Mr. Ian Ferguson, good to see you here, Ian, we added some tunes with part music. We also are grateful to so many friends who have helped us out playing on accordion and the bass drum and the side drum where we've needed a few extra hands. We're so grateful to you. If you're here tonight, thank you so much for helping out. And some old ones come back from time to time to help us out as well. Some of the girls I'm looking down at there, you'll remember Bannerfest. I'll not embarrass you any more than that. The band had the pleasure of being invited to many events over these 24 years. Mulnahunch Orange and Royal Arch Purple District Services, County Monaghan District Services, Auckland Apprentice Boys Services, Junior Orange County Services, Bannerfest in Dungannon. But the highlight for us has got to be leading Mulnahunch District from Stormont in Belfast on the 100th anniversary of Northern Ireland in 2022. We are so grateful to the district for asking us to lead them, and we really value the lovely framed mirage of photographs we received to mark this occasion. And you'll see the picture. Yes, that's the picture there. And it's outside, just in the hallway, just on the right-hand side there, and just have a wee look at that. We're so grateful to that. Of course, I let my hair down, or, well, you know, metaphorically, like, didn't really have it, like. I let my hair down that day. As I say, I don't have any hair, but I've lost my place now. Yep. And we really whipped up the crowd along with us as we played the sash, and you'll see some of the videos while you're having your tea, and you'll maybe see me in action there as we come out through the gates of Stormont, come down that avenue, we struck up the sash, and we got the crowd going, and we had such a fantastic day. I think Trevor knows, I think we'd certainly liked the sash well that day because we repeated it quite often, and really got the crowd going. Today we're very grateful to those who record us on video. We had some of our parents have recorded, some of the members of the band, their parents record and send them. It's great. And there's other, now today, any band, you'll get it on YouTube, and it's great for that. And we're so grateful we're able to look back and see ourselves and hear ourselves and on YouTube. And someone who really enjoys these videos, along with another very familiar face, all the way from Canada, our former band and lodge members, Edwin Huey and Timothy Condy.
Greetings from Canada, from a founding and former member of Mulnahunch, Lily of Clonanese, and we're going to do a little tune and a few greetings for you.
Well done. It's a great delight here to send you our greetings on this, your 75th anniversary of the Mulnahunch Accordion Band. I know that I have many, many great memories of the band and the lodge from numerous years ago. We won't count them all. And Andrew knows that I still follow you folks on YouTube, and I get a great deal of pleasure from that. And many a night through the winter time, I've enjoyed all of your parades and was really excited to see you leading out the whole parade on the Northern Ireland's 100th anniversary. So all good for you, and very many blessings. I hope you have a very, very enjoyable anniversary evening, and that you enjoy yourselves together. And I trust that you will enjoy many, many more years together. So just from me here, thank you for your service and your excellence in playing over so many years, and for keeping it all together and being so faithful. And just to finish it off, I would say a hearty no surrender.
And I agree with that, with Ed and all those sentiments. And great that we can share these few greetings across the miles, even though we can't be there in person. We know it's going to be a wonderful evening. 75 years, and I think our Andrew was there right at the beginning. I wasn't, but played for many happy years. Very glad this summer when we were over to bring this accordion. It means a lot to us, and we're able to show it to the Canadians, and just the wonderful heritage of Mulnahunch still continuing on these 75 years. Have a wonderful evening, and safe home, brethren. And we'll finish with, instead of God save the Queen, it's God save the King.
Amen. And just for any of you eagle-eyed people, this is not the Mulnahunch one because I couldn't find it. This is my father's one, so you'll forgive me for wearing a Lochan's collarette tonight.
What a way to finish. Have a great evening. God bless everyone.
Bye.
Them my Lochan's boys get in everywhere. Oh, you don't know. Very good. So, just brilliant to have these, to bring their memories. Thanks to the great modern technology that we have. Our 75th year has been a busy one, busier than normal. We not only have done parades as normal, but we recently performed at a concert in a parish church down in County Monaghan. I'll not try to pronounce it because I'll get it wrong. And Jenny's father's here, and I'd get it wrong. The Junior Lodge, we played there for their prize giving. We done a wee concert piece there, or two there. We also had a band barbecue, which was a great night as well. There we are. But without doubt, the highlight of the year was our trip to Portrush. By invitation of Alistair Erskine to lead Tyrone and Anahu Junior Lodges at the County Antrim Parade. There we are in Portrush. To start, we had a hearty breakfast in Crilly Orange Hall with a big fry-up before we set off by the bus on a beautiful sunny day. We struck up the band again and gave the crowd a taste of our now famous sing-along song, The Sash, and it didn't disappoint. With some ice cream and a trip on the water slide, we'll go for the video there, Simon.
He's a title.
The two cubs and me went, wasn't that good fun, boys? Your old boys, they were too chicken. Too chicken, they wouldn't go. They just stood and laughed at the rest of us. It was great. It was that warm. I was glad you cooled down. And I did. You can't tell there, but it was really wet after it, but it was good fun. It was an all-round fantastic day. Finished off with a wee dander up Ballygolly. We had to head back to support Dergna. So it was a busy day, but it was a great day. Really enjoyed it. We'd like to thank Anahu Junior Lodge for the lovely plaque, beautiful out there on the left-hand side as you go out, and framed pictures as a reminder of this special occasion. And here we are tonight, celebrating 75 years of Mulnahunch Band. And what a fantastic experience this night has been. You agree? Yeah, been all great. It's been really super. Thank you so much. It's been a really super night, I have to say. So why do we do what we do? As a band, we seek to support the Lodge and share the truth of the Reformed Protestant faith, reminding people of the good news of Jesus and his love, first to ourselves in the band and then to those outside the band, by our music, our conduct, and the relationship we have with each other. What is our hope in life and death? It's Christ alone. We pray together as a band, especially before big events, even this one, that God would use us And only eternity will reveal the outcome of the impact of the music from our band. And to God be all the glory. Thank you.
What a great night that's been. Just one more round of applause for Mulnahunch Accordion Band, the Hunch Bunch, Lily of Clonneys. Fantastic night. Just give me that page there, that concludes the performance side of things for tonight. There are a few things going to take place, and I'm just going to tell you the procedure over the next 5-10 minutes that's going to happen. Shortly, the lead drummer, Joshua Condy, is going to come forward here and say a few words. There's then going to be a prayer and grace from Ben Robinson, because there's going to be supper. Those of you who don't know, you're here for supper, and I've seen what's out there, so you're not going to go home hungry. I hope you came hungry, because you'll not go home hungry, that's for sure. After that, the national anthem will be sung, and then there's going to be a cake cut, and the guests of honour, our founder members, Jean McIver and Tommy Rutherford, along with Gwen here, are going to cut the cake. There will then be a photo of the band, and during the cake cutting, or just at that time, I would invite all the former members who are in the audience to please come forward, because what they want is a photo with everybody. Those who are currently in the band, those who are former members of the band, they want as many of them. If you're able to come forward, please come forward. They want a picture with everybody. But just before we get to that, I mean, they say there's no such thing as a free supper. We've all come in here tonight with our pockets full. There was no cost to get in here. In fairness, there's no cost to get out again. But the eagle-eyed amongst you will have seen that there is a collection for a free will offering at the door. It's vital, it's absolutely vital that we look backwards before we look forwards. We've spent the last hour and a half here looking backwards. But really, as we look to these guys over here, we think of the future going forward, in which there's lots of camaraderie between these people and the crack and so on. Money, unfortunately, plays a role in supporting the band going forward. I did a wee bit of research earlier. Andrew did say they managed to get some of these through micro grants, but your standard accordion cost 400 odd quid for an accordion. Am I wrong? More than that? Oh, right, 4 grand. Right, so we're talking that sort of money. Uniforms, I know myself, uniforms are not cheap, and I don't think they've any immediate plans for new uniforms, but keeping them maintained and so on, like a standard uniform is £400 to £500. So I'd ask you to please dig deep. Don't miss the pot on the way out, and if nothing else, pay for the supper at the very least. But there is an opportunity for you to give as you're leaving. So that's the formalities over. I'm now going to hand over to the lead drummer here, Joshua Condy, who's going to say a word or two. Thank you.
I'm going to thank a few people on behalf of the band, and try and not leave anybody out, but you can shout if I do. So firstly, of course, thank all of you all for coming out tonight, all our family, friends and former members and supporters too. Thank each and every one of you. There wouldn't have been much point in having this night tonight now if it wasn't for you. And especially our former members, of course, because without you, well, there'd be no band today. And it's great to have Auntie Jean here and Tommy that were there at the beginning. Would of course want to thank the session and committee of the church here for allowing us to use the hall tonight and all the facilities. The lodge, LOL 96, Lily of Clonneys, of course no point in having a band without a lodge to lead. So thank you for all your support throughout the years, and to Dean, one of our own members of the lodge, for comparing tonight. You're doing a great job, thank you. And hopefully you'll not go home hungry. We're going to get supper. So thank all the ladies that have prepared that and are going to serve it out to us. I think there's maybe somebody mentioned desserts as well. And of course Heather Stinson for the cake that she's made, and we'll hopefully get a piece of it along with the tea too. And there was somebody in particular who doesn't want to be named, but they very generously covered the cost of the supper. So we thank them especially. For anybody who provided photographs or videos or anything, thank you, because it's been great to look back at them and how the band has changed, and maybe the people too, over the years. And as Dean has already said about money, we want to thank. It's not all about money, but it's you can't do much without it nowadays. So thank you for all your financial support too. The sound, and as Aidan's clicking away there, the camera, thank you, Aidan, for taking photographs, and Emma Jane and the camcorder back there, and Quentin and his helpers on the sound, and for the ones in the band too that helped with all this computer stuff. It's beyond me. But and of course then the band, there was a lot of effort, time and effort put into tonight, and some of us were here till I don't know what time. It was into the early hours of the morning last night. Some of us were wanting our beds, but put a lot of time into setting the hall up and all. And of course, for the dedication over this last number of weeks, usually we're not worried about bands in September, but they've been very good at coming this last number of weeks, and of course learning new tune. Usually it takes a few years to learn a new tune, but we managed to learn one in little over a month there. Christ, our hope and life and death, that was our new tune that we learnt. And the ladies they made their own desserts, so they had to buy their own ingredients. But no, thank them too. Who have I missed? Oh, right. Somebody provided. I don't know. Anyway, thank you. Anyway, whoever you are. If I have missed anybody, you know yourselves, we greatly appreciate all the work you've done, whether it was for tonight or just over the years in general. Thank you very much. So, have I forgotten anything else? Jenny, you forgot to finish your poem. You have a few more verses. So, we'll hand over to you and allow you to finish. Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you. Right, I'll pick up where I left off. So, as our evening now draws to an end, our heartfelt thanks we must now extend to our wonderful bandmaster of 25 years. To each band member, he's a friend that's so dear. Andrew, your enthusiasm and energy goes over and above. Being with the band is your greatest love. From organising the tunes and sending us WhatsApps, sorting the uniforms and swapping the caps. We all just simply haven't got a clue all of the running about that you do. So Andrew, we would like to present this gift to you as a token of our thanks for all that you do. So we ask Gwen now to present this gift to you. All right.
I had this all scripted. I didn't put the words in Jenny's poem, but I thought I knew that everything that was happening the other night. The whispers behind backs and all the rest. You never know what's going on, but But thank you so much. And yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. Always a pleasure. There's no need whatsoever. This night is not about me. You know, a band is not a solo artist. It's a company of people, and we have a company of great people. I'm the boy. I love taking, you know, being the man, the show boy, the showman, and get the whole crowd whipped up, and probably to the point where, you know, probably getting these ones' nerves, like in WhatsApps at early hours of the morning. I refrained this morning at 2:30 or 2:45 this morning. I was going to send one, and I refrained. I waited to 7:30 this morning. So instead, but sorry, I'm going to turn my back on you, but thank you so much. You know how much.
Andrew, thanks again. Everybody give Andrew a massive round of applause.
If you'd please be upstanding for the national anthem. If you'd please just remain standing, Ben's going to go out and say a word of grace before we get the cake cutting and the supper and so on. Ben.
Just say a few words in prayer here. Lord, thank you for bringing us all here safely tonight. And thank you for the community that we've found, for the presentation, for the songs that we've heard. Lord, I hope that you just bring the message from the songs into our hearts, and that we think about the words and that it comes to mean something to us. Lord, just hope that you'll bring us all safely home again, that you'll look after us and give us journeying mercies. Also, thank you for the food that's been prepared for us. We thank you for the hands that have made it, for the ladies that have laboured over the food. And Lord, just ask that you'd bless us all and look after us. In your name we ask. Amen.